Our next speaker for the day is Mr. Jaren Thomas.
Thank you. So that's me, and that's my LinkedIn profile. Please do follow me. I do share some content, good content. With that, let me start with my topic for financial reporting. So I think all of you are commerce students, right? So you should know about financial reporting. My question for you is, why is good financial reporting important in today's world? We've heard about a lot of these startups having issues with their financial reporting. Let's do this poll. You can scan the QR code, put in your responses. So I think we have about maybe around 200 people. Maybe I'm taking a sample of, let's say 10%, 20 responses. Okay. Question for you is, why is good financial reporting important in today's world? Okay, let me see if I think it's not refreshing. Give me a second. Okay, great. So we have a tech problem, right? No problem. Let's look at this. Let's call out answers. Let's do this more manually, right? What do you think is the reason for good financial reporting? Why is it important for today's world? Yeah. Yes. Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay, good. So I think he said 3 important points. One is for investors, one for funding, and one in terms of looking at how they can grow. Any other points? Come on. Some more points. I'm looking for 20 answers. Yeah. To know the company is legit, okay, in terms of whether it's performing well. Yeah, performance. So I think one important thing which is coming out is performance. Anything else? Decision making. Yes, very good. Decision making. It's important to look at accounts from a point of view of decision making. Yes. Anything else? Waiting for 2 more answers. Growth. For the growth of the company, yes, it's very important. For the growth of the company. One more. Risk management. Oh, beautiful. Risk management is an important element in terms of financial reporting that also can come out from your entire financial reporting. So let me summarize all of this, and I have one specific word which you will look at, which is trust. All of this boils down to the fact that can you trust that particular company? Can you trust the financial reporting? And that's the most important thing which we should look at from a financial reporting perspective. Right. So if you look at the other words, investor, risk, compliance, the business efficiency, you'll see somewhere in between there's an image which has been put in, economic viability. These are the things which is really important from a point of view of good financial reporting. What is the basis for this? If all of this is the importance of financial reporting, if you look at the basis, one, it should be accurate. Second one, it should be timeliness. There should be timeliness in terms of your financial reporting. Third one, completeness. And the fourth one, reliability. Trust me, I'm not teaching you financial statement assertions, though it is very much connected into that. right? So this is the importance of financial reporting in today's world. Let's go into what is the evolution of financial reporting. Before we look at this particular slide, you should understand one thing. When I teach accounts, I always tell this one specific statement. Accounts is like the storybook of the business. And that storybook will tell you how the journey of a company, the journey of how it went through. Now, if you look at this from a point of view of right from a manual financial reporting, which is like pre-digital, which I've called it, and a reactive mechanism or desperate. It tends to happen that many small companies, what tends to happen is that, the chartered accountant will call up on July 30th and tell, sir, you have to file returns. Or on a time when they need to file their MC or Ministry of Corporate Affairs returns, at that time they're looking at the financials. It's a very desperate reactive measure which comes out, right? So that's manual bookkeeping. What evolves to the next is something where you have some sort of an invoicing system. Collections are important. So you sort of sort out that particular element. You might have an accounting package and a lot from an Excel point of view. Most of the things which happen is on Excel. That's the beginning stage of siloed digital efforts. The next part, if you look at it, and this becomes the challenging part. Most companies, when they grow and they enter into this phase, is where you get into this progressive, which is like a step in the right direction. And if you look at it, what is the significance of it? They start with ERP. And they have quite a lot of Excel which comes out. And basic analysis. So what tends to happen is with regard to the growth, the evolution of financial reporting grows along with how the company grows. And they will start with an ERP, they'll do basic analysis, and most of this run on Excel. If you look at the next one, from an advanced stage, this is the beauty where beginning of automation starts. If you look at the characteristics, if you look at that, there's ERP, there's integrated applications. What do you mean by integrated applications? You might have a CRM software which is talking to your ERP system. You might have an HR software which is talking to your ERP system. You might have, let's say, something like a marketing system which will talking to your ERP system. All of this builds around your ERP system with integrated applications. Standard reporting. The reports are more standard. There is efficient book close which happens. Management reports are generated out. And then finally, there is the intermediate level of analysis which happens. This is a stage where about 10% of companies are there. Then if you look at the gold standard, which is about 5% of companies, if you look at ERP, still becomes one of the most important element, which in reality is being questioned in today's world. Do you need an ERP? But let's say ERP is a base for all of the applications. You have more integrated apps, you have standard reporting, you have efficient book close. Essentially, whatever you have done before, you're carrying forward into the next. Additionally, you do have embedded intelligence, RPA digital workers, which is RPA. Can anyone tell me what is RPA? RPA? Can anyone tell me what is RPA? Robotic process automation. This is like a bot. It's a software, a bot which will do the process automation for companies. And that's literally becoming digital workers. They do the processing of data and they're able to turn out a much more faster, more efficient mechanism in which reporting can happen. Let's go to the next one, the finance of the 21st century. So financial reporting is the story of accounts, and that's the last bit of it which comes out in terms of, let's say, your Schedule 3, your P&L, your balance sheet. How does the finance of 21st century look like? First one, there is people. It's a combination of people, process, and technology. From a people perspective, there is evolving skill sets. It's just not about accounts anymore. There's evolving skill set. There's a dynamic operating model which comes out, and collaborative performance. In order to get to a proper financial reporting, it's just not important from the finance department. It is a collaborative effort from all departments within an organization, and that's what a collaborative performance is. We look in this more in depth. Let's look at process. Process is often something which is forgotten in terms when what happens is technology often takes a lot of space, right? But process is very, very critical. Having a streamlined process focused on continuous improvement and from a simplified systems and data. Simplifying systems and data will always help in terms of building the process further. And the last one, technology. Starting with my favorite, advanced analytics. There's analytics which becomes the critical element for decision making. If you look at the widening the usage of AI and ML in terms of artificial intelligence for digital workers, ML in terms of building models which are there, forecasting models, all of that comes within the widened usage of AI or ML. And the last one is RP or digital workers. These are very interesting concepts which are there where, the AI bot can do activities which are there. That's a robotic process automation or digital workers. Let's look at in depth for each of them, starting with people. So, evolving skill set. Do you need to know finance for financial reporting? Yes, I think that is like the basic which is required, right? You need to know basics of finance. Apart from that, in today's world, what are the additional skill set which you need to know? One is on strategic thinking, data literacy in terms of understanding what is the data talking about, how you are able to comprehend the data, right? Apart from this, creativity, interesting. Did you ever think that financial reporting would require or finance department requires creativity? It's a very important skill for today because the next one is the visual storytelling. Imagine I was telling you the story, accounts the storybook of a business. Tell that beautifully, and that's where a creativity and a visual storytelling helps as skills. Additionally, agility and problem solving. In the last speaker, Anthony came on board and he was talking about very important skill sets of critical thinking, of problem solving. That is important from a point of view of the finance department. Right. Let's go to the next one, a dynamic operating model. Today we are in Bangalore, which is the hub of outsourcing for India. If you look at there was this sort of a meme which was running around telling when we got independence, they knew that we are going to be serving for the world, and that's why at the strike of midnight, the India awakens to the world. Right. So that is where the outsourcing model or nearshore model which is there. And gig economy along with consultants becomes a very dynamic environment which is built in. Companies are operating at multiple different models to get the right mix of model. Right. The next one is on a collaborative performance, which includes a cross-functional expertise, effective communication, risk identification, risk mitigation, knowledge sharing. Let's go back. And let's go to process. I'm just going to allow you to read all of this. Simplified systems and data allows you to do a simplification of data, of systems, re-engineering the entire data, also looking at building better solutions, improving efficiency, and enhancing accuracy. Continuous improvement, you can read this. And finally, streamlined process. Process as a part of financial reporting or finance on a larger perspective is important to make sure that the processes are working fine and it becomes a more efficient mechanism. Right. Finally, let's go to technology, which talks about first one, we're talking about the RPA digital workers. How do they bring in the benefits for a company? One, in terms of scalability, one, bringing the accuracy and efficiency. They're much more accurate and efficient. Second one, or the third one in that sense, is cost savings. There's a clear audit trail for the activities which a digital worker on RPA does, which enables it become more efficient and better in terms of auditing. Widen the usage of AI/ML. Today, the AI/ML is being used for multiple areas, like, for example, anomaly detection, to detect if there is a fraud which happens. Like, for example, Uber, when they had released their promotion codes, they had an AI or a machine learning model wherein it was detecting whether people were claiming too many offers, whether drivers were claiming too much of incentives. That was the usage of AI and ML, and that is becoming widening towards the finance department. The last one, advanced analytics, it includes not just your diagnostic analytics, it also includes how you can forecast it, what is the prescriptive analytics next to it. How do you do risk management? Analytics can help with risk management, identifying the risks much early in time. Financial monitoring, operational efficiency, and one important thing is FP&A. So with that, this is the finance of the 21st century. It includes people, process, and technology. So how does the finance transformation journey look like? The two parts, one is the value creation and a maturity. It starts with basics. You need to know basics about it, basics of your reporting in terms of timely, accurate reporting. There should be effective communication. This is in terms of the basic accounting which is there. The next step towards is improve acumen. What tends to happen is finance becomes a department which is sort of disconnected from the business. And you're writing the story of the business. So you need to know what is the business acumen, understand the business better, understand what is the products which is working on, what is the services which are there, understand the business, how does the business tie everything together. As a finance person, it's very important to improve the business acumen. The next step is from a business intelligence point of view. Once you understand the business, you can influence the business with your insights. Look at from a point of view of, hey, you know what, you have the P&L account with you, analyze it at a product level, advise the ones who are doing sales and marketing. Let's focus on this product, let's focus on this service, because we've got better returns out of it. That's where intelligence comes into place. How do you do this? You have a continuous monitor of KPIs. The next thing, and probably the most important element, the next step is a strategic leader. Today's CFOs are not just expected to close books, submit the returns, submit GST, submit income tax returns. No, not just that. They have to be a more strategic leader. And that allows you to look at the second point, which is drive the company performance. And that's very important to look at from a digital transformation or a finance transformation model. What is the other new age reporting? I'm just going to go this faster in terms of the ESG, environmental, social, and governance reporting. From an environmental factors, you have climate change, emissions, energy usage, and also from a point of view, what is the environmental impact of the company. And from a social perspective, you have diversity and inclusion, health, safety, and health and safety measures which are there. One important element which comes as part of this is data security. Of late, there has been an increase with regard to where top 1,000 listed companies in India have to start reporting on the ESG requirements. And then we have finally the governance, which is on investor relationships, transparent accounting method, whistleblower policy. This next one, which is a very interesting one, which is coming with intermediary funding. Of late, there has been a lack of clarity in terms of how the funds are being used or received. And that's where loans or funds which have been received, are they going into the right direction? Are they going into the intended purpose? And that's where intermediary funding comes into place. Ultimate beneficiary. Another important element which comes out from today's reporting is to identify who is the ultimate beneficiary of loans, investments which come out. And finally, my favorite, internal controls. Internal controls has always been part of financial reporting, and that's been the crux of any audit which has been conducted. And they will help in terms of making sure the reporting is done in a proper manner. Let me go to the key takeaways, the last particular one. What are the key takeaways from the finance department of 21st century? First and foremost is, it's a journey of people, process, and technology. All three are important, but people comes first. When you have the people with the right skill set, when you have the set processes, then you bring in the right technology. Often people go in the other direction. People first look at technology, then process, and then last people. But please remember, the biggest takeaway from today's finance department is from having people, process, and technology. Continuous improvement and innovation. This is, if you look at from the previous, the previous speaker was talking about the new skills which are required for in today's world. One of the important thing is always look at a continuous improvement, continuous innovation. Keep an open mind towards things. And finally, keep updated. It's very important for you to look at new technologies, explore, use them, learn and relearn them. That's it from my side.